everyone, I'm Tina Athaide. I am the author of Orange for the Sunsets. Before I tackle and delve into this a little bit and so we can book chat, I want to thank the Canadian Children's Book Centre for this opportunity and for supporting children's books and getting books in the hands of readers. So, my book, Orange for the Sunsets, I'm going to read little excerpts here and there, tell you some of my favorite parts, how they came to be, and then also introduce you to some of the characters. So the first opening page sort of sums up anything I could say to you. So let's start. The first page starts in Entebbe, Uganda, which is in Africa, 1972. During the summer of 1972, the president of Uganda, Amin, had a dream. God spoke to him and told him to kick all foreign Indians out of Uganda. Word of his dream spread throughout the country. It reached the ears of best friends, Yosefu and Asha. He was African, she was Indian. Asha had lived in Uganda her whole life. They weren't worried. No. So that's the opening. So if we look at the cover, which was amazing to me, the artist that worked on this, the book design, all of the people that contributed had a very, very cool idea. So I'm going to bring it up closer. At the very top, you can see the illustration of Yosefu. But in the words orange, which are backwards for you, but if you look closely, they've actually drawn in the city, India Street, which plays a central part in this book. At the bottom half, where you see Asha, but then sunsets, it is actually giving you a picture of the hills that you see all around Kampala, and then also Lake Victoria, which also plays a role in this book. So let's look a little bit further. So the interesting thing about this, and how I wrote it, is I wrote it in alternating voices and alternating chapters. So one chapter will be told from Asha's point of view, then you'll hop out and you'll pop into the head of Yosefu and either get to see things from his perspective or something completely different, but his points of view. So you see things happening in the country and you get to get the perspective of two different people and how they are visioning things and seeing things as they play out. For me, that was very interesting to write, because I'd have to have Yosefu in my head at some times, and then get him out completely so I could put Asha in my head and write from her point of view. And so let's just jump into Yosefu for a little bit so you get a sense of his personality. So the chapter that I'm going to read to you it's actually Asha's birthday, and Yosefu is waiting to see her. He's very excited because he has a present for her, but he's waiting for her. So, let's see this. It was Asha's 12th birthday party. It was all she had talked about for the past few months. Yosefu pulled out the crumpled card from his pocket. It was the first invitation he'd ever gotten from her. He'd thought about going. He wanted to go, even up until last night. But then he remembered Mama's words. You and Asha are from different worlds. She'd said it in Luganda, their Ganda tribal language that she used when she meant business. He got it. Asha, she was oblivious. She didn't get how him being African and her Indian, it made them different. It was the whole reason he wasn't at her party right now. The Indian club, the Entebbe Institute, they accepted African members, but the only Africans inside the club right now were the club boys serving the drinks and food. It would have felt weird to him being at that party. The problem was, he shouldn't have told Asha he'd go. So that tells you a little bit right there. Asha gave this to him. She's excited. He was excited. But he's starting to see just those subtle differences between the two of them. So when Asha does come out finally, Yosefu's very excited. And he calls her over, and she comes over, and he's ready to give her the gift that he bought. So let's see what happens. Asha walked over. What are you doing here?" She crossed her arms and glared at him. "Happy birthday!" He raised his hand for a high five, but she stood with her arms tightly knotted. Ooh, this wasn't going to be easy. "I got you something." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a slightly crumpled sachet. He pressed it into her hands and wished her happy birthday. Excitement flickered in Asha's eyes. Oh, no way could she stay mad. Her fingers tightened around the sachet. Had she guessed what it is? Yosefa wished she would hurry and just open it. She started to, but then stopped. "What's wrong?" She looked at him and shoved the gift right back into his hand. "I don't want it." "Oh, come on, just open it." "No." "Then I'll do it." He tugged and ripped it open and pulled out a string of round beads. It was a friendship bracelet, something that you shared with your best friend. There's no way he could wear one. What would the cricket guys say? The bells clinked softly, the little beads, saying to Asha, "Try me on, try me on." But she didn't. "Why didn't you come to my party?" she asked. "Everyone said you wouldn't, but I didn't listen. I said you would, and then you made me look like a fool." "I wanted to," Yosefa said. "I did. I even came here tonight, but then I couldn't. There's just too many differences between you and me." "Who cares?" said Asha. "It's never mattered before." "Everyone cares," said Yosefu. "Our friends, your friends, our parents, and me. I care. I'm not like you. My family works for you." "So what?" "You're my friend. You should have come," said Asha. Yosefa looked at Asha and something inside him shifted. He wasn't her houseboy to order around. He tried to shove the bracelet in her hand. "Let go!" And it snapped. Asha couldn't believe it. I'm so sorry." Yosefa chucked the string at her. He took off on his bike. "Wait!" he called. He heard her calling out. He blocked her voice with images. The times he'd had to come through the back door at Asha's house, or the times he'd had to stay in the kitchen with his mama, Farah, while her parents had guests over, or the hours he'd spent in the sugarcane field to pay for the beads for her bracelet. Suddenly it was like he was seeing his life for the first time, and he did not like it. So that tells you a little bit. That's one of these scenes where both of them are in there, and you get a little bit of her perspective and a little bit of his perspective. The interesting thing about this story is it's very close to my own heart because my family lived there. I was born in Uganda, and we left slightly before Idi Amin ended up having the Indians leave, ordering them out. But a lot of the people that left ended up on my doorstep in England, my parents' house. And over the years, when we moved to Canada, a lot of Canadians that we know now are Asian Indians, refugees that came over to the country. And they were accepted. So this story has been growing, and it was a story I wanted to tell. So if you look here in the back, there are little pictures. So here you can see the Entebbe Institute. Here you can see myself little and my mum and my dog, and she was a nurse there. At the top is my dad and I in the botanical gardens. And so it was thrilling for me to be able to include some of those pictures in the back of the book. The book as a whole started out for me as a picture book, then it evolved into a bigger story, and then I told it just from Asha's point of view, and then from there an editor said, maybe you should write it from 2 points of view. And that's when Yosefa took on such a bigger role in the book as a whole, and so did my research. So I could really give him the space that he needed in the story. So I'm going to go to another section in the book where it tells a little bit about what's happening in the country with regards to the president. So let's find that section, and we'll read a little bit of that. So this is Sunday lunch. Asha felt so bad about what happened with the bracelet. She actually went back there the next day, searched and hunted for those beads, determined to put that bracelet back together. So she's been on that hunting expedition. She's found some of them, and she's back home now. And they're sitting there. They've just had lunch, her family. Farah has cooked ahead of time. That's Yousef's mum. She's left it there and gone home. And the family is just together. And you can tell they're a more affluent family because Farah's working for them, but also they have a television. So, Papa switched on the television. Grey and white lines flicked across the screen. He twisted the antenna until the fuzziness melted into a clear picture. And President Idi Amin appeared, smiling broadly at Asha from the square television box. He looked a little like Yousef's father, but taller and with a rounder face. The front of his uniform was covered in medals. And I promise you, as a military man, I know how to act. We will build new schools, new roads, and... New schools? No, thanks, Asha thought to herself. Her school was just fine. New roads? Yes, especially if it meant her shoes wouldn't get covered in a thick layer of red dirt every time she went into town. Mama appeared balancing 3 small bowls and 2 mugs of steaming chai on a silver tray. Her bangles softly clinked as she set the tray on the low table. She handed a bowl to Asha. Kulfi. It didn't matter how full she was, Asha always had room for ice cream. I have to tell you, I always have room for ice cream too. What is the president up to now? Mama asked. Papa turned up the volume and President Amin's booming voice burst out of the little box like a firecracker. I stand before you wearing the uniform of a general, but don't forget, I came from a poor family. I am a simple man like you. God spoke to me in a dream. I promise you that together you and I will make this country better and stronger and free. Asha pressed her spoon into the soft ice cream. President Amin, he dreamed a lot. A couple of weeks ago, he announced on the news that he had a dream where God spoke to him about getting rid of Indians. Good thing President Amin didn't listen to his dreams. If you want to find out what happens, you'll have to tuck into these pages and figure out what happens to them. But for now, I want to thank all of you for joining me. I want to thank the Canadian Children's Book Centre for this opportunity and for all of you that got to take a sneak peek in at some of my favorite chapters at the beginning. Thanks, everyone.